there is a freshness and a purity that comes through with these people that one would be shocked about if they didn't expect it. I know I was shocked as well. Like seeing these people and having conversations, I really felt a deep connection at the core level as being with another human. That's not to be said by let's say, the correction officers or the social workers or the doctors or psychologists in the same prison. Those people are often really hard to deal with. And sometimes they're lying every single day. They're saying things about the prisoner that not even true in order to perpetuate this length of stay, or to keep them in their solitary confinement, or to keep them in whatever level they're in. So they have to chart things that sometimes are not the truth. They're not exactly what's so. And, they're saying things about a client who they're afraid of, maybe saying that they're potentially violent or something when they haven't been violent for months or years. And, say they're making statements about themselves, and they're walking a very thick walk. In other words, a very viscous existence, meaning they sort of have to make things up in order to get themselves a purpose in life. And this is often true with the COs and the social workers in the prison system, where lying, or at least bending the truth about the prisoners when reporting about them, is a standard affair. It's what frequently goes on in the prisons here in the US, and I imagine that might probably true in Europe as well, in order to keep their jobs going. There's, for instance, at the prisons that I've worked in, there were more employees hired at the prison than actual prisoners. Like, it was more than 1-to-1. There was some several thousand prisoners, but there was more people working there than actual prisoners. How could that be? What is that all about? That's just a crazy use of finances and revenue streams, and a crazy use. You have to imagine that there's deep corruption at the bottom of that. And that's what I found inside the prisons is, unfortunately, there's deep corruption that often runs those prisons. And it's very unfortunate, because what they don't want you to do is actually speak the truth. When you speak the truth in that setting, you're an outlier, and you can get, you put yourself in a dangerous situation. Again, talking a little bit to the people that you've had on this show, there's a number of them who do their very best to speak the truth, and do it against the grain. They speak the truth even though it might be dangerous to actually say what's so.
Like one of the last guests, BB Bacchus, like she was a real estate, and she got nearly 8 years, 7 years and 2 months, something like that, fraudulently, because she was trying to help the poor get houses. They weren't given the grants. And I know somebody else as well, and like she's talking about that, the actual amount of money, it's all down to trusts and like your work, the straw man and things like that. So that's why they do it. That's why they keep people inside in jail and they have no rights. And it's a shame how it's done. But like, I think when we have compassion and look at systems that are working, to be replicating them, because like if we look at all the countries around, like say the education system in Finland, that's a lot better than most of the others. And every country has something that's working brilliant, but they tend to all just do their own thing. And when we start combining the stuff and go, let's copy the top 3 countries that are doing this, let's copy instead of the other way around, they're just letting people off on their own. And the same in the prison systems, and dealing with homelessness, because even with going back to the homelessness, like I said, once you give them dignity, because they were like even providing small houses, that's what they're taking away from them, their dignity. Most of them, they will try to get back into society. They actually want to do some work and things like that. And one of the other ones I want to touch on now is you've worked with orphanages, and that's something that scares me, because like I've just heard of so much of the abuse that goes on with that, because like prisoners, they don't really have a say, and and it's a lot worse for orphanages, because one, they don't have a parent, or maybe that it's just, but unfortunately there's a lot of abuse going on there. So perhaps you can kind of share some light on that one.